We're good?
Yeah.
Good. Great. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. My name is Mike Graham, and I work for the City of Tucson Department of Transportation. It's a very special day today as we honor and pay respect to the 18 Airmen, the 18 brave young men who lost their lives just south of this bridge here, right over there near Speedway Boulevard. These young men were serving our country, preparing to fight in World War II, and unfortunately a mid-air collision back in November of 1944 took their lives. It's a privilege and honor for me to stand before you today. For all of us gathered here today, I want you to think about some of the things that had to fall into place for us to be, all of us to be here together like we are today. The planets, the stars, everything needed to align for us to be honoring these brave young men today. Back in 2006, our area, the region here, approved a plan and a funding mechanism for $2.1 billion worth of projects. This project here, the bridge and the connection to Tanque Verde Road, was part of that plan. So it took voters to approve to build this roadway. And then three men, metal detecting, uncovered a .50 caliber bullet, cartridge, thanks, and did some research to find out where this could have come from. That research led them to Councilmember Paul Cunningham's office. They had a desire to pay tribute to these 18 airmen after all the research that they did. The next planet that lined up was the Clemson Tigers football team, playing in the BCS semifinal game in Glendale. If Clemson is not playing in Phoenix, Kay Richter and her husband aren't traveling to Arizona. Kay's husband's desire to eat some Mexican food in Tucson led them down to Tucson. But before leaving home, she called her mother to let her know they were coming to Tucson. It was then she learned more details about what happened to her uncle, to her mom's brother. And then the power of Google. Kay got to Tucson. I don't know if it was before eating Mexican food or after.
We never got to it. We never got there.
You never got to Casa Molina?
No,
It's
we're
right
going
up the
tonight.
street.
We're going tonight. Sorry.
But she Googled the collision just to see what she could find, any information that she could get, because she really had none. It led her to a local news story that we were dedicating this bridge. More power of Google. As Kay and I are communicating and some things that she and her family wants to do here at the bridge, she puts a lot of energy to try to find you all. I don't know how much time she spent. She may share that with us, but it was all that work and all the planets and everything lined up that brings us here today. From 2006 to Kay doing all her research. I think we owe her a big applause. Divine, that's what you and I talked about. This is divine. So thank you very much. I'd like to introduce our city councilman, Paul Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, this is his ward. He represents this area in Tucson right here. And we'll have Paul come up and say a few words.
First of all, I want to acknowledge our city manager's here, Mike Ortega. Let's give him a round of applause. The story is just the way Mike told it. It's unbelievable. I wasn't really thinking about divine intervention. I was more thinking about just fate, the fate of many. You know, here in Tucson, we're within 60 miles of 3 major military installations. Plus, there's another government installation that trains the CIA and the Navy SEALs. Pinal Air Park has a long-standing tradition of some of the elite paratrooper training for the United States. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, home of the A-10. We've had training missions. So many people from all over the country have settled in Tucson because of their military career. And 75 miles away and about a 1-hour drive from this point, you're on Fort Echuca, the intelligence center and hub of the United States Army. And that is what Tucson is, not to mention Camp Little and Fort Lowell, historical sites that existed in both Nogales and in Tucson over 100 years ago. We are somewhat a military community, and we've had so many different training operations here. Everyone from some of the first B-17 pilots to some of the top Apache pilots and the most modern VTOL aircraft in the world. We will eventually have an F-35 squadron here. We'll have training missions in Arizona for a long time because the Berry Goldwater Ordnance Range, just to the northwest of us, is one of the largest targeting range for operations in the world. In fact, not only do pilots coming out of Davis-Monthan practice dropping ordnance there, but also pilots coming out of Lackland Air Force Base as far as San Antonio and Miramar, yes, home of Top Gun, practice right there. But this project is special because in all of those years, since post-war, since World War II, through the Vietnam era, through Desert Storm, over 1 million men and women have trained in these different installations. And not only have they trained, but we've lost a good 300 to 400 of them. It was hard to pin it down. I called around in preparation for today, but we've lost quite a few just in training missions from the different installations. And for me, it's a personal thing because when I served in the National Guard, I was stationed at Fort Echuca for a while, and then Pinal Air Park, and I ended up at the RAOC just outside of Davis-Monthan. And all these people have trained, and never before have we been dedicated. We've dedicated something to the people we've lost who were training. And this isn't just remembering the 19 men on this plaque. This is remembering all the people that we've lost in training incidents in this area, where so many young men and women have given their lives to their country. So we're proud to be part of this. We're honored to be a part of this, and thank you very much for making the trip to Tucson, Arizona. We're really lucky to have you, and this is one of those stories that this is what makes America great. And so I'm proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. In my job duties, every day I deal with a lot of people in the public. A lot of times, most of the phone calls that come into me, many people are upset, whether it's lane closures, potholes. We do get a lot of calls from people thanking us for all the work that we've been doing recently with all the paving projects that are going on here in Tucson. For about the last 2 months, there was one weekly phone call that I looked forward to every week, and I could see in my mobile phone the South Carolina area code, and it was Kay calling me every week to discuss where we're at with today's event. And after today, I hope that I can still get some calls from you, Kay, because they were very pleasant and I enjoyed speaking with you on a weekly basis. I'd like to introduce Ms. Kay Richter.
Well, thank you, Mike, and I'm honored to speak on behalf of the families gathered here today. First of all, I've got to thank the citizens of Tucson. I thank Councilman Paul Cunningham, City Manager Michael Ortega, Chief Information Officer Mike Graham, who has just been fabulous through all of this. He truly has been. From the first phone call, he got it. You know, he got it, and how important and special this was going to be for the families, and do it. Also, on behalf of the families, to Bill Davidson, Fred Gateman, Ray Villalobos, gentlemen, thank you so much for all that you did and to get us here. And I gotta say, Sam Salzwedel as well. If he hadn't done the report of you gentlemen, I would have never found it and Googled it. So he wasn't able to be here today. He was with us last night. But again, we thank you all, and we thank you today for giving us this opportunity today to be here to honor these 18 brave young men who were dedicating their life to serving the country. And they were all joined forever by a tragic accident that happened on November 30th, 1944, just right from here. But so we're here today to honor them and what their service was. So when I say them, those 18 airmen, they were our great uncle, they were our uncles, they were our brothers, they were our grandfather, Wendy, and Darla. They were our father. These men were cherished family members. You know, Darla, you met your father, but you have no memory of your father, obviously, for 9 months, and the same for all of us. And I just find it remarkable that we are all here today. We've traveled long ways to be here to honor and remember family members that we never met. But I think that just goes as a testimony to show how loved and remembered they were within our families, how difficult and tragic it was for our family members to go through that. But like today, we come full circle for these 18 airmen. We as family members come here to remember them not only as our cherished family members, but what they were doing for our country and for the freedom our country and that we enjoy today. And I just think it speaks so well to the family members. When I had the privilege of calling you, it was, at first that, what's this call, you get, and then the kind of a little suspicious, and then immediately the voice tone changed. And so welcoming and so interested, and couldn't wait to share the information with the other family members. You all probably, you remember that call, Delwyn and Darlo and everybody when we talked. We all immediately became family, a family bond that we shared. And so I just can't help but today think that those 18 young airmen, they're our cherished family members, but they're also a team that were doing their job. And I just can't help but think today they're all up there with their arms around each other, smiling down, that we brought it full circle today to come here to honor them. And so, having said that, let's honor them. What I'd like to do, we did this earlier this morning, but again, while we're here today, I think it's important that we read their names and what they were doing and their ages and where they were from. And as you're able, as I read the name of your family member, I would ask you to please stand if you were able. And I'd like to read these. Okay? The Airman B-24 Liberator 4273357. PFC William Thomas Dixon, a gunner, 19 years old, from Gaffney, South Carolina. Okay, stand. Second Lieutenant Charles Frank Gavilski, navigator.